Welcome to this special Walton Centre charity episode of Neuro Stories, the podcast that highlights the people behind neuroscience at the Walton Centre. In this episode, we're talking to patron David Fairclough and his daughter Sophie about the annual Jan Fairclough Ball, Home from Home, and all of the fantastic fundraising that goes into running the facility.
I'm David Fairclough.
And I am Sophie Fairclough.
Tell us a little bit about how you came to be involved with the Walton Centre all those years ago.
Well, under tragic circumstances, really. I mean, my wife unfortunately had a massive brain hemorrhage. As kind of the morning progressed that we were in Southport Hospital at the time, to be honest with you, I'd heard of the Walton Centre, but I wasn't fully aware of it, of what it did. But a great friend of mine was Paul May. And Paul was a leading neurosurgeon at the Walton Centre. After the initial diagnosis of Jan's situation, there was still a sparkle of life, and suggested that Jan should be moved to the Walton Centre. And then we became much more familiar with the work that it did, the setting, and one thing and another. And we spent a few days sitting vigil over Jan while we were hoping that she would recover, but as it happened, she unfortunately passed away. So Jan was a great doer and an action girl.
Not in like a physical sense.
No.
She wasn't,
I was
like
going to say, what was Jan like?
A lot of common sense. She always said that she never left school with any qualifications, but maybe thankful to her dad. She had a great common sense. She was worldly wise.
Yeah, she was business savvy. She could like see an idea or an opportunity where something was an exciting opportunity, and she was always kind of forward thinking in that sense. But yeah, she wasn't academically clever.
There was no mistake in how cute, how.
There was no flies on her.
Oh
yeah,
God,
you
no,
wouldn't pull the wool over Jan's eyes. She was
quick-witted as
quick
well.
Off,
she was so
quick
funny.
off the mark. She was clever. She was a clever girl in many ways.
And people, do you know what now people always say to me, obviously we put a lot of things out on social media and stuff like that, especially when the ball's coming up. And I get so many people who message me and say, you don't know me, but I will never ever forget your mum helped me when this happened, or I had just had my first baby and I'd moved to where we live, and your mum took me under her wing. She went out and got me baby stuff, and she showed me everywhere to go. And I honest to God, all the time, people come up to me all the time, and I knew she was like that anyway. But I didn't know to the extent that she was like that. Like she really went out of her way to help so many people because she just loved people. She was so interested in other people and helping, and it's just the way she was. Yeah, she did. She made everyone feel like they were a friend. They were so important, and that is, I think people can teach you that, try and teach you that. But with Mum, I feel like she just had that. Like she made everyone feel.
It's just who she was.
She just was. Yeah, she just did care about people. And she had time for them, and nothing seemed like too much trouble. And that's what she was like. We always joke and say, she was on PTA. She couldn't understand why no other parents wanted to do it because it was going to help your kids. And she used to get a bit annoyed thinking, I don't know why they wouldn't do it. So that's why we always joke and say now this has all kind of come back around. She would have been the first one to be doing a fundraiser because she just always wanted to help. So that's what she was like, naturally.
What gave you that impetus to go, I think we need to do something?
I think that was you, wasn't it, with Paul?
Well, yeah, certainly. Yeah, Paul May suggested we should do something in Jan's memory. He gives me credit. I give him credit. he said it was my lead. She was so dynamic person. It would have been rotten for her to pass away without a memory.
Even like at her funeral, God, there was about 500-600 people in the church. Like we had to change the venue, the church, because the initial church that we wanted was too small. There was people lined everywhere. There was so many people. And I think that was just testament to people were so shocked when it happened to my mum because she knew everyone and so many people knew her and so many people wanted to thank her for how she was with them. I think...
She had a business as well,
yeah.
See. So a lot of people were her clients, and the inside of the Thornby Times, she knew everything that was going on. You get 5 or 10 minutes with Jan, she'd have had your life story.
Yeah,
she
should
was
have been
very
a detective.
Good. Yeah.
But I think after what had happened to her, it would have been criminal if, there wasn't something that kind of
If it just
commemorated.
passed.
Yeah, because she did have such an impact on everyone else. She really deserved it. And we joke and say she'd be mortified, but it was only right, wasn't it, that there was something done for her. And then obviously as a family, we talked about what could we give back. You know, we can't really do much for the hospital because it's already an amazing place. They're leaders in what they do, and we couldn't really, by fundraising for something clinical or wouldn't feel right. So we decided as a family, what was the one thing that we all thought, you know what, as a family, we would have all appreciated maybe somewhere to go and rest and be on the hospital grounds. And I'm always aware that, you know, Alder Hey and children's hospitals, they seem to have that, where parents can go and stay when the children are terminally ill or critically ill. But it didn't seem that there was something like that for adults. But they are still going through potentially end-of-life treatment. And that's when the idea came about. I think it started out something quite small, like a lounge, and then to have the option to do something like the home from home. We've got 8 bedrooms.
I'll say when Madeline really put the idea to us and said, look, there's a space here that utilise that sort of part of the building and do something on a much grander scale than maybe we were initially thinking of.
We're sat in Home from Home now, in the Fairclough family lounge. And there's also 8 bedrooms and a quiet room and a laundry. And it really is that space where families, as you said, can come and just get that moment, relaxation, reassurance, but just be 5 minutes away from the hospital. You've read some comments in the book and spoken to families. What do you think that means to families to be here? What would it have meant to you?
You want to be near your nearest and dearest, but still in all, you know, it'd be nice to have an hour's sleep or, you know, to refresh and keep your mind, you know, alive and alert. The fact that now, you know, we were able to be a part of something that gives people that sort of opportunity to refresh. So I think it's been a perfect project to be involved in, to leave a memory, and it'd be such a strong memory that it will be here for a long time. It will make sure that Jan's memory isn't sort of washed away. You know,
I think the biggest thing I found though was, at the time, obviously I didn't even know it. I was 21. I didn't know what the Walton Centre was. Thankfully, I didn't even know why you would come here, to be honest. And reading and speaking to other families who've been here, I was amazed at how far away they come from. Like even reading the visitors book today, they've come from Flintshire, Pembrokeshire, Anglesey. I had no idea. And all I can think is Isle of Man. Like the day my mum collapsed, you get a phone call and say you want to race to the hospital now. So if you live however many hundreds of miles away and you have to literally drop everything and go to that hospital, you've got nothing with you. You don't even know whether you're going to be going home that night, or you don't know where you'd be sleeping that night. I was really, really shocked by how many people would kind of be uprooted, and it's a horrible thing that there's so many people who have been in that situation and will be again, but I think it's when you become aware of it, it's like, right, okay, well, how can we make this better for them? And to read that they've said, you know, being able to just gather my thoughts for an hour on the hospital grounds but away from ICU, that is totally worth it.
Since my involvement, certainly the amount of people I've met and meet on a regular basis around Liverpool and what have you, and have thanked us for being a part of what we've been involved with the Walton Centre, the knowledge and the expertise that is needed and is on base here. You know,
it's a club nobody wants to be part of.
Most definitely, but it's amazing how many people have been touched by it, and as I say, they're not slow to let you know that they've appreciated you being a part of something which is a point of excellence. You know,
and I think Mum proves, Mum's situation, she wasn't unwell. That proves that this can happen to anyone, and you don't want to scare people by saying, oh, it just struck like that, and 52, she was fit and healthy, it's just happened. But it can happen, and that's the horrible thing. So, it can affect anybody, so anyone could need the use of the Home from Home or the Walton Centre. So by doing that, hopefully we're not singling certain age groups out, it can affect anybody.
And so every November we have the Jan Fairclough Ball in Jan's memory. It's been going for over 10 years now. What kind of night is it?
It's normally it's a very emotional night because the room is normally full of the same people that have followed us from the start. there's a few extra tables, not always the same people, but there's a few extra tables of people who've we've had a real group of people though that have followed us, and it's been lovely to have them there every year.
There's been a hardcore, but it has filtered out to a lot of people. People have gradually brought more people. But we're very grateful the fact that they've been there right from the start, supported us from the start. We've got some great sponsors, and that has been the strength of hosting the event, that we've been able to attract sponsors year in, year out. The likes of Carpenters, Home Bargain, and A&B Engineering. These people now have been with us a few years. Matalan initially were involved with us right at the outset, and were here with us for many years. We rely on that support to make sure that the event can happen, and then attract a sort of a widespread sort of people who want to come along, have a fun night. We like to have. We like to think that it's a fun night with entertainment, good
although
food.
It's emotional, it's actually fun, and it's a celebration really. Lots of people who knew Mum, lots of people who didn't know my mum, but hopefully go away from it knowing a little bit more about her and what kind of person she was. But it's just an opportunity for people to have a nice time, but also raising money for such a worthy cause.
Yeah, fundraising is a big part of it, and like all these type of events, but certainly we love to think that people go away and think had a really nice night, good band, good music, nice dancing, good atmosphere. We've been very fortunate with the venues that we've had. Initially, we had Formby Hall for the very first one, and then after that we based ourselves in the Hilton for a few years, and that was we had some great times. In the last few years, Titanic has become the home for the Jam Fairclough Ball, so we've had good locations. We think it out quite a lot. We do think it doesn't just sort of like.
Well, it couldn't happen without Madeline.
No. Well, we put a bit of thought into it, and we do hope that it's fun. And the main thing is that it's continued, a regular date in the annual calendar. And it makes it a little bit easier sometimes for people to pick up and say, well, we'll support it, year in, year out, and it's almost upon us. It's that year comes round awfully quick.
Yeah.
We've raised hundreds of thousands of pounds over the years. If people aren't attending, because obviously there's only so many people can attend, how can people get involved and help support this year's cause, which is the Home from Home, which the charity covers 100% of its running costs, but also it's 10 years old. It needs a little bit of love itself and a little bit for refurbishment. So how can people get involved and help support that cause?
Well, it has done well, because I think when you walk around here, you don't automatically think it's tired, but like everything else, like your own house, you need to refresh and maintain. So we have a live auction, though, for people who are present, but also then we've got the running auction, which will be open a day or so before the actual event, and that comes out and be fun, because people are
bidding from home,
making bids from it's a bit annoying when you're chasing something, and I've chased one or two things in the past and been beaten by somebody who's sitting on the couch and all and outbid us, but no, it's there are a couple of ways people can you can still support Walton Centre from afar. You don't have to be even involved in the event. We're looking for that support. It's a constant. So we need help, and so you don't have to just come to the event. If you've experienced what the Home from Home is, can provide, or if you've been, you can still sort of show an interest and help keep us going. And we're very grateful that people do sort of choose to support, give a little bit of support for what we're trying to do.
I think because it's an NHS hospital, maybe people think it is funded by that, or but to know that this centre the Home from Home is funded entirely by charity. Without that, it just couldn't run. And that is a massive point that we need to get across to people, that this is a project every year to just the running costs for the Home from Home, never mind any maintenance or anything like that. So this year, the ball will be vital in raising the funds for that, which is amazing. But after that, we still need the support, because obviously it's running costs as well.
will be able to bid for the silent auction via the Walton Centre Charities website, thewaltoncentercharity.org, and you can find all the details on our social media posts. But Sophie, David, thank you so much for giving up your time, and I hope the John Fairclough Ball is much of a success and a wonderful event as the woman was herself.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to this special Walton Centre charity episode of Neuro Stories. If you want to learn more about the charity and support the ball, head to www.thewaltoncentercharity.org. You can listen to more episodes of the podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts and YouTube, and stay up to date with the latest news and events from the hospital and charity on our social media channels, at the Walton Centre on Facebook and Instagram, and at Walton Centre on X. If you have any feedback, email the communications team at wcft.communications@nhs.net. This podcast was recorded and hosted by Elaine Vale and edited by Sam Fleet from the Walton Centre's communications team.